Well, the first one we always go after, I call it the foundation that you have to have, which is I need to make sure I have a plan of attack on, I call it enterprise data and system architecture. What systems hold what data? Which one is the truth? How do I make sure I don't have replicated information in multiple systems, which cause, I call it discrepancies as we go. We have a whole plan of attack, and we've done it probably in almost a dozen clients of ours on how do we reconcile the data, the system, and then how do we make sure we have no complementary or contradictory issues as we go. And we kind of define those types of informations into different buckets. And we do that because the maturity model, the life cycle that matures this data is different when you think about concepts of, hey, I'm going to manage my product and my portfolios in a manner. I'm going to do product information. I'm going to do transactions. I'm going to do service. So we kind of take it as we mature these pieces of information so we fully understand what needs to be put in control and how do we make sure we pull the right information for that. That's one of the examples. The second one that I find is happening more often lately, and especially in larger organizations. What we're seeing is there's a shift of what's needed from a company's core capabilities and partnerships. So we spend, I would say, considerable time having companies retroflect on what do you want to do and what do you need to develop for core capabilities within your organization on a talent perspective, so that you can actually execute the actual work you're going to do. And then secondary to that, we call it core versus non-core. For the non-core items, we don't want you to go build engines for AI, right? We want you to go partner. So how do you evaluate certain partners? How do you make sure you have the right criteria for you so that you've got a good set, internal, external, you create a great team so that you actually do it. It's a lot of work for companies because sometimes they've been around for 100 years. They understand their core capabilities from an IT and technology capability. So now you got to sit back and kind of go through things in a very, very different fashion. And then the last thing we kind of do, and I won't say last thing, but the first three things we kind of do is really kind of looking at gathering the disparate kind of activity, those shadow IT works and shadow AI works, looking at frameworks, looking at how do we manage the change within the organization. And at the end of the day, people think it's just a technology piece. Well, a lot of the reason why this work kind of stays at experimental mode is because they haven't done the work to bring the organization with it. People get a little uptight when they don't understand what's changing and why, and how does it fit for them. So there's a lot of work to be done on bringing these folks in from senior executives down to the working folks to make sure they understand, they agree with what's happening, they understand the reasoning, and understand what does it mean to them.